Hey everyone, this is Viren and welcome back to my n8n tutorial. So in the last video, we started off this playlist. We created a playlist and we created a first video, which was n8n for beginners and how you actually sign up and create your first automation. And like I said, if you can just follow along with this entire playlist, you will not have to do any other n8n course. I'll take you from not knowing how to do automations to be actually setting up automations, AI agents, voice agents, chat agents for your business. So we'll do things like lead capturing, lead qualification, customer support. I'll show you how you could automate all of that for your business. Now, in the first video, if you've not seen it, the link is in the description, but we covered that there are three ways to run n8n. One is to just use the n8n platform directly, right? And that's the easiest way. So we went into the n8n flow and we registered for this free trial, 2-week free trial, the startup plan of 20 euros, right? But like I had said that here, you don't have unlimited executions, 2,500 executions every month. And as you execute more, it can start to get super expensive. So the best way to do this is actually run your own server, costs you about $10, $20 every month. And then you could do unlimited number of executions every month. That's the best way. The second way is also to have a local setup, but that way your flows will only run when you're online and n8n is running locally. I'll show you both the ways in this video and you can choose for yourself, but my preference is to create your own server and run it there. Or if you think your use cases are really not that much and 2,500 executions are fine, then you could continue with the starter plan. There are pros and cons. There are a lot of things that n8n sets up for you out of the box when you take this plan. But if you set it up on your own server, you have to kind of do all of those setup yourself. I'll show you one example in this video. So let's get started. We'll start with the local setup, but if you're looking for the personal server setup, just skip to that part of the video and you can watch that. Or if you're looking for local setup, then let's get started. The first thing you need to do is install Node.js. So I searched for Node.js, found this, and you can click on Get Node.js here. I'm using Mac, so I will use the Mac OS installer. Now, the simplest way in which I can explain this is think of Node as your operating system. So sometimes there are apps that will only run when you have a certain version of iOS or will only run on iOS. So you need the operating system to be able to run the apps. Think of it that way. n8n is the app, and the only way it runs is that if you have the capabilities of Node enabled on your machine. So it's a very quick setup. Once you download, we can quickly just install it. And that's all. We're done. So now what you can do is you can open up terminal. Now, the easiest way to explain the terminal is it's a way to talk to your computer, use all the functionalities of your computer without actually using the mouse and the user interface where you go and you're able to open folders and do things like that, right? So that's the easiest way I can think of in explaining this. Now, let's check if we got Node installed. So all you need to do is type node-v, and I can see that we have this version of Node installed, right? Now that we have Node in place, the next step is to actually install n8n. So all you do is sudo npm install global n8n. So you're asked for your password, and when you actually type your password, it won't show up, but just enter your PC's unlock password and press enter. The installation is started and it could take a few minutes to complete. That's it. The installation is done. So now every time you want to run n8n locally, open up your terminal again and just say n8n start. So that's it. n8n is working. It's working on this URL on your local machine. So if I just press O, it starts. So if you're installing n8n for the first time, you will see a screen where you have to set up your account. But since I already did have an account, I am being asked to log in directly. And once you log in, you're back into the same interface, right? The same interface that we saw in the previous video. And from here, you could basically start creating your workflows. So this is it. The local setup is done. Once again, this only runs while you have this terminal window opened and you have n8n running. But if I terminated it and I came back and hit refresh, this no longer works, right? So your n8n workflows would not be active. If I went back into terminal, started n8n, I came back here and hit refresh, my n8n flows start working again. So this is the only downside of running things locally. So if all your flows run in a way where there is no automatic triggers and everything is triggered manually or through chat and things like that, then it's perfectly okay. But imagine having set up a customer support agent where it only runs when you have your local machine on, right? So that would not make sense, which is why we will now create a local server, and I'll show you how to set that up. And that's actually incredibly easy. So the platform you're going to use here is Hostinger, and they've made it incredibly easy, right? You could just directly deploy n8n in one click. The link to this page is again on the description. I think it's a referral link, so you get some 10-20% off when you purchase this plan here, and it's already incredibly affordable. It's about $10-20, and what you're looking at is Indian prices right now. But yeah, you could use that link to get a little bit more discount. There are a few plans to choose from. I think these two are the only ones that will make sense. Just to quickly explain the differences, here you have a single core, here you have double core. So essentially think of it as, two people doing your work compared to one person doing your work, that kind of a thing. Unless you're running AI agents and multiple AI agents that are live at the same time, you wouldn't even need the second plan. The first one should suffice. But in this playlist, I do plan on making AI agents. I'm going to go with the second one. So you can look at multiple offers. I'm just going to start with a 1-month thing for now, but we'll back up our own flows and I don't need the executions as of now. Select the location, whatever is closest to you, wherever you think the latency is going to be best. For me, Mumbai is the one. And then you have to select basically what operating system you want to use. And what we are going to use here is this application n8n. There's also this n8n 100 workflows. It gives you like some 100 templates out of the box available in your account. I really don't need that. I feel like there are too many platforms out there that give you so many workflows, but unless you know how to make them, what's the point? So I'm just going to go with the basic setup. We'll quickly register. Submit the payment. And let's go. I've been asked to create a root password. Once done, click on next. So the setup is started. Like it says, it'll take about 5 minutes and you'll get an email once it's ready. So the setup is done and let's click on manage app. And here now we can set up our account. If you registered this setup with n8n, then you get some of these features for free forever. So why not? So send me a free license key. So check your email, find the license key, head over to usage and plan, and you can enter the activation key here. So I'm going to head over from my email and get it. And that's done. Coming back to the folder. So this is exactly like our previous two n8n setups, whether it's local, whether it's with n8n, right? And now I want to show you the difference that sometimes when you're using n8n hosted, how it is easier compared to things that you do on your own server. So let's do that. So in the last video, we had created this basic setup where essentially if you filled this form, and this is still in the description. So if there is a workflow or automation that you want me to build in this playlist for your business, we can do that. So basically, if you filled this, I would get that in this sheet. And as soon as something in this sheet is filled, every minute this would trigger and it would pull all the information and then send you an email, right? So we had built something like this. And if you recall, connecting to Gmail or Google Sheet was as easy as sign in with Google, right? Now let's import this into our new n8n instance. So I'm going to just download this. So it downloads the flow as a JSON and I'll go into our new n8n setup, create a new workflow here and import this from file. So I imported that JSON, and as you see, when I imported this, there are some errors here, which means that the Google Sheet and the Gmail is actually not connected, right? So this account does not have those credentials. And when I go to create these credentials, you'll see that the sign in with Google option is no longer there, right? And this seems something different altogether. There's an OAuth URL redirect, client ID, client secret. So what is this, right? Now, when you get n8n out of the box directly through n8n, they have their connections with their Google APIs, Google Sheets, Gmail, Google Calendar, whatever you want to use, and similar tools like them. They have connections ready out of the box, so you can just sign in. But this is our own server, and we have to create those connections, right? So this could be slightly time consuming to do. You might have to do additional things here, but then once this is set up with all of your accounts once, you really don't need to worry about it again, right? So in this video, let's do Google Sheets and Gmail one more time and see how this works. In fact, here, there's even documentation. So here there's a documentation which shows us how to connect to all of these Google services, right? So we would go into Google Cloud, and I'm here, click on console if you're logged in. And once here, you are looking to create a new project. And we'll give this project a name. So let's say n8n account, hit create. So now the creation is in progress. And once done, we are into the account, right? So we're into the n8n account. Let's go back to the documentation. So the next step is to enable APIs. So let's pause here to understand what n8n actually did and why we are having to do this again. n8n had an app with Google, and they had already made all of these connections available from all the accounts in their server. Because we've created our own server or using it locally, we are having to create our own app with Google, which allows us to use these APIs. So once you're into your project, go into APIs and services, enable APIs and services, and we're looking for Google Sheets. So we enable this. I'll go back again, click on APIs, and this time let's search for Gmail since we need that as well. And we enable this. So essentially we've created an app with Google where we're saying that, hey, we are going to be needing access to Gmail and Google Sheets. Then we go into the OAuth consent screen. So here, basically, what we're doing is we're creating that screen which comes whenever you click on sign with Google, right? So we'll have to give this an app name. So let's just say n8n projects. Okay. One email. Basically, any user, when they click on sign in with Google on your app, they will need to know which app is asking for permission, right? But since this is going to be our app and we're going to be using it, that's completely okay. We can name it anything we want. This is external since we're using it on our server. Enter your email again here. Click next. Done. Now you go into audience and add yourself as a test user so that whenever you're accessing with this email, it'll always work. If you have multiple emails that you will be connecting with n8n, then you can just add them here as well. Once done, we can go back, go to API services, credentials, and we'll create something called OAuth client ID. This is what you would recall n8n asked for. So far we've set up that there is an authentication screen where we're showing what app is asking for access. We've enabled Google Sheets and Gmail as well. And now for the final step, we are creating the client ID and secret keys that n8n wants. So web application, the name of the web application could be n8n credential. You'll add a redirect URL. So for the redirect URL, you go back into n8n and this is the redirect URL to copy. So you come back here and paste it. In fact, what we can quickly do here as well is that we go into the local setup of n8n that we had, create workflow. I'll import the same here as well, the same workflow. And here, when I try to create, you'll see that this is a different URL. This is my local host URL. So I'll copy this as well. And I can go here and add that URL as well. So whether I'm calling this connector from my hosted account with Hostinger or through my local, it will still work. So now let's click on create. So your client ID and client secret is visible here. Quickly just copy the client ID. So I'll go here, paste the client ID as well as go to my local setup, paste this there as well. Come back here, get the client secret. And as you can see, you will no longer be able to view this. So make sure you've, copied this, saved it somewhere. Client secret. go to the local setup as well, enter the client secret. And now what you will see is that you have the option to sign in with Google, right? So you can click on it, sign it with your email. Now here Google is saying that, hey, I've not verified this app. Right now, what n8n had done is that they had verified the app with Google so that all external users are able to use it as well. But for us at the moment, only test users, where we've added specifically the email that will use it, only that email would be able to use. So click on continue and this is done. So as you can see, the setup is done. So if I fetch test event, this is what the form had. If I go back to the Google Sheet, this is what we had filled in. So I can see it here. And now the same thing with Gmail, right? So set up the credential, enter the client ID and secret again, sign in with Google, use the same email that you've allowed access to. So we can now execute this step and it works. Quickly opened my email and I can see that I did receive this email. On the local setup, you could do the same thing. Done. Now go into Gmail, setup credential. And now we have this working here as well. Executed the workflow. This works. So I've received a new email and this works, right? So what we now have are two setups. One is on Hostinger. This is the one. And I have the exact same setup on local as well. So once our 2-week trial with n8n ends, we can start using our local setup or the Hostinger setup. Whatever one works for you, just go with that. You can always bookmark this video, come back to it, and whichever way you want to go, whether it's a local setup or it's Hostinger setup, you could do it either way. All the links are in the description. And now let's start getting into the good stuff and creating some AI agents, some automations for your business. If there's something specific you want to see, just let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.